Hello students, I Sneha Sharma, your English teacher, welcomes you to your English 2 class. So today we will be starting chapter 13, that is Down the Rabbit Hole. Okay, so before we start the chapter, let us read this part of the chapter. So here, literature has always loved its anthropomorphic animals. So what is anthropomorphic animal? So anthropomorphic animals is an animal that has the same feeling and quality as humans. So animal or animated animals that have exactly the same feeling as a human being. Okay, here is some characters given from which of the stories or book they belong. So let us discuss quickly. Balu, it is from the book The Jungle Book. Aslan, from the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Tigger is from Winnie the Pooh. Toad is from Horton Hears a Who. The sour kangaroo is from The Wind in the Willows. So this was the match the following, you can say, the different characters from different books. Now over here we are going to read about the adventures of Alice in the Wonderland. Okay, this is also a small part of that story. So let us start with the writer. So you see who is the writer? Lewis Carroll. So he was born in the year 1832 and died in the year 1898. Was an English writer, mathematician, philosopher, priest and photographer. So he was also an English writer, he was a mathematician, a great philosopher, a priest and a photographer also. So he is known as a master of genre of literary nonsense and featured wordplay, fantasy and mathematical riddles in his work. So he is from the genre of literary nonsense kind of stories he used to write. Fantasy, wordplay is something that is his speciality. His best loved works are Alice's Adventure in Wonderland and its sequel Through the Looking Glass. So these two are one of the most loved book or the loved work of Lewis Carroll. So now we will move on towards the chapter. So Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the bank and of nothing to do. So of having nothing to do, she was sitting next to her sister, okay, on the bank, okay, and there was nothing that she could do. Once or twice she had peeped into the book her sister was reading, but it had no pictures or conversations in it. So you can see her sister is reading a book, but Alice, once or twice she has looked or peeped into the book, but she saw there was no picture or there was no conversation. And what does she say? And what is the use of a book? Thought Alice, without pictures or conversation. So she thought that without pictures or conversation, a book is of no use. Okay, that was Alice's thinking. So she was considering in her own mind as well as she could, for the hot day made her feel very sleepy and stupid. So the day was very hot, okay, it was summer. So the day itself made her feel very sleepy and stupid. Whether the pleasure of making a daisy chain would be worth the trouble of getting up and picking the daisies, when suddenly a white rabbit with pink eyes ran close by her. So she thought that she is too lazy to go and pick up the daisies and chain it. So she wanted to make a daisy chain, but she was too lazy to get up and go pick the daisies and then chain it. Then suddenly what happened? There was a white rabbit with pink eye that ran close by her. There was nothing so very remarkable in that. So there was nothing strange. It is a simple rabbit. Nor did Alice think it so very much of the way to hear the rabbit say to itself. So she didn't think that the rabbit would speak. So she thought that is some ordinary rabbit. So what did the rabbit say to itself? Oh dear, I shall be late. When she thought it afterwards, it occurred to her that she ought to have wondered at this. But at the time it all seemed quite natural. So later she thought about the rabbit, what happened. She thought it was something that to be thought upon, to be think something. okay, to have wonder on that topic, that how can a rabbit speak. But when the rabbit came past by her and said these word to himself, oh dear, I shall be late, Alice thought that it was completely natural. There is nothing strange about it. But when the rabbit actually took a watch out of its waistcoat pocket the and looked at it, so what happened? What was strange about the rabbit that Alice noticed? That the rabbit took out a watch of its waistcoat pocket and looked at it. So the rabbit was looking at the watch. So the rabbit was looking at the watch and then hurried on. Alice started to her feet, for it flashed across her mind that she had never before seen a rabbit with either a waistcoat pocket or a watch to take out of it. So this was Alice's thinking, okay, she has never seen before. She had never seen before a rabbit with a waistcoat pocket or a watch to take out. So this was something strange that Alice has seen. So she followed the rabbit, and burning with curiosity, she ran across the field after it, and fortunately was just in time to see it pop down a large rabbit hole under the hedge. So she followed the rabbit, and as she saw the rabbit, it popped down into a hole. Okay, and what did Alice do? In another moment, down went Alice after it. So what did Alice do? She followed the rabbit in that hole, never once considering how in the world she was to get out again. So she didn't even think that how is she going to get out of that hole. She just followed the rabbit inside that hole. The rabbit hole went straight on like a tunnel for some way and then dipped suddenly down. So suddenly that Alice had not a moment to think about stopping herself before she found herself falling down as very deep well. So what happened? The hole was as straight as a tunnel and it was very deep. Okay, while Alice was falling down in that hole, she didn't think that how is she going to stop herself, okay, from falling. She didn't think how to stop herself before she found herself falling down a deep well. She was falling straight into that hole without thinking that how is she going to come out of it or where is she going to go. Either the well was very deep or she fell very slowly, for she had plenty of time as she went down to look about her and to wonder what was going to happen next. So she thought that either that tunnel or that hole was very deep or the time has turned out to be very slow, for she was having plenty of time of thinking and wondering what is going to happen next to her. Okay, so these are all things that Alice is thinking. Okay, she thought that the either the hole is very deep or the time has slowed down, because she had a lot of time to think that what would happen next. Now what happens? First she tried to look down and make out what she was coming to, but it was too dark to see anything. So what did she tried first? That she was looking down to see what was coming next to her, but it was too dark to see anything. There was so much darkness that she could not see anything. Then she looked at the sides of the well and noticed that they were filled with cupboards and bookshelves. So what was the well covered with? It was filled with cupboards and bookshelves. Okay, so on the side of the well, it was filled with cupboards and bookshelves. Here and there, what did she saw? She saw maps and pictures hung upon pegs. So what is a peg over here? What is a peg? A short piece of wood, metal or plastic that is attached to a wall, used especially to hang things on or to fasten things together. So it is something like a rod or something that is used to hang something, okay, some kind of thing that is used to hang. Okay, it is like a pole or something in which we use it is used to hang things. Okay, it is given over here. It used especially to hang things or to fasten things together, to attach things together or to hang things together like a pole. Okay, now what happens? She took out a jar from one of the shelves as she passed, and it was labeled orange marmalade. Okay, so while she was falling down, She took out one of the jar, and what was written on the jar? Orange marmalade. But to her great disappointment, it was empty. But the jar was empty. She did not like to drop the jar for fear of killing somebody, so managed to put it into one of the cupboard as she fell past it. So what happened? Since the jar was empty, she thought instead of dropping it down, that would kill somebody or someone would get hurt who is down there. So she put that jar back in some or the other cupboards while she was falling down. Okay, so we are going to leave the chapter till here. Okay, so in the next class we will come to know that what is going to happen while Alice is falling down that rabbit hole. So that was all for today's class. Thank you.